out and log back in and try to do it again. And call me back if it doesn't work.
Hi. I'm trying to get in the camera.
Hi.
All right. How's that looking? You want us to pull
Cameron.
back? You want me to pull
Hi,
up?
Cameron. And are you Camilla?
I am.
Oh my God, I have to thank you. Andrew has said you have been incredible.
Oh, thank you.
so
Thank you
much.
guys for your patience.
Thank you.
Is the lighting good, or I guess that's what we were
It's
wanting?
great. I was wondering whether we could zoom into his face a little bit more. What do you think, Andrew?
Is that better?
Maybe even move the chair up a little bit if we could.
Let's come on in. Let's do this, Andrew. Let's go. Oh, let's do this instead. Right there. Now let's try this. Turn this way just a little bit.
No, I think this is fine. If he covers up the plug point.
Yeah, let me move that.
Move the chair.
The
so
outlet,
that it's-
yeah, so it's covering that.
We're a little crowded in here, but we're gonna make it.
You know what? We really appreciate what you guys have done to make this happen. I know it's not
I think I'm plugging the load though.
easy or...
Ah, shoot, this is a real plant.
Oh.
I thought it was fake. Let's get you over there. I
Scoot your
want to
chair.
hide that plug.
Oh my God, perfect. Okay,
Is that a little better?
yeah, it's perfect.
Okay. Let me change some lighting just a little bit. Scoot back just a little bit. And then you come right back into it.
Cameron, would you say you're pretty chatty?
Yes, ma'am.
That's good.
I don't know. He's kind of quiet, but he should give you some really good answers.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong, Cameron. It's whatever you feel, because everyone's experience is different. And so feel free to say whatever you want. And if there's something I haven't asked you about and you want to talk about it, like, feel free. Okay? Because I'm not a military kid. I don't know what it's like. I'm looking to you as the expert to give me the answers. How's that?
That's good.
Okay. Oh my God. Yep. Are we ready?
Yes. Do you want him to just start talking, or do you want to ask?
Do you need levels, or are we okay on levels?
No,
I think we're fine. Cameron, can you do me a favor? Can you start by saying your name and spelling it? Your whole name?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Cameron Johnson. CamronJohnson.
And how old are you, and which school do you go to, and which grade are you at?
I'm 13 in the 8th grade, and I go to Robert G. Cole Middle School at Fort Sam Houston.
Robert G. what?
Cole. Robert G. Cole.
C-O-L-E?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, tell me a little bit about all the different places you've been to.
Well, I was born in Puerto Rico, and then I moved to North Carolina. And from North Carolina, I moved to Maryland, and Maryland to Norfolk, and then Norfolk to Texas.
Do you like all the moves?
Yeah, I liked most of them. They're all, like, better. They're, like, upgraded as we went on. It got easier.
Tell me, what are some of the best parts of moving, and what some of the, like, most challenging aspects of moving are?
The best part of moving would have to be meeting new people, like exploring new cultures, new foods. And the worst part would be, like, in North Carolina, I left most of my family there, and, like, my pets and all my friends, my childhood friends and stuff like that.
So give me an example of some of the things, either foods or places or something different you've done that other kids who weren't in the military wouldn't have done.
Well, most kids that aren't in the military haven't lived in Puerto Rico and stuff like that, and, like, places.
And what can you think and tell me about a time when moving was really, like when you said you moved from North Carolina, like, tell me a story or a time when you felt really like that was really hard for you.
Well, I lived in Norfolk for the longest time, so when I moved from Norfolk to San Antonio, it was really hard because my best friend, since like third grade, we lived like in the house across from me. We were friends for like 4 years, and then we lost our dog because we drove from Virginia to Texas, and we didn't have a house. We lived in an apartment, so we couldn't really bring him. It wouldn't be good for him to come. So we left him, and then usually during the summers when we lived in Norfolk, there's like a 4-hour drive from Norfolk to Wilmington, which is where most of my family lives. So now we don't visit as often.
How do you stay in touch with them?
Well, we call them like often, and then like for our birthdays and stuff, they'll like send checks. And one of my uncles lives in El Paso, so he comes every once in a while, like once a month or something.
Tell me something. Is this the first time you've kind of video chatted, or have you done it before?
This is the first time I video chatted.
What does your dad or mum do? Which one is in the military?
My mom is.
Your mom. Tell me what she does.
She's a career counselor in the Navy.
And has she ever been deployed?
Yeah, she was deployed for 11 months when we lived in Norfolk.
And tell me a little bit about what that was like. How did you hear that she was going? What was that like?
It was probably like the worst time of my life. When she was gone, I mean, it was fun because usually during the week I can't like play video games and stuff, so my dad let me do that. But then my brother got like sick and he had like a seizure and stuff like that, and it was horrible.
And so how did you react? Did you cry? Did you get into fights? Like, did you kind of keep to yourself? What are the ways in which you reacted?
Well, when my mom was gone, I would stop talking to my friends as much. I'd be like just like thinking in the middle of the class. I like stop paying attention and like think about my mom. But my third grade teacher, she was like really nice, and her husband was in the military. So she like during class she let me like email my mom and stuff and check my emails. She made a big impact on my life.
How do you think your life would have been during that year if you didn't have a teacher who understood what you were going through?
Well, my grades probably went way down, and then if my grades weren't high, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I get like A honor roll and B honor roll, and my life, I wouldn't be as fortunate if she wasn't there.
I bet that makes your mom really proud.
Yeah, I still keep in touch with that third grade teacher.
That's wonderful. I want to know a little bit more about, like, so there were some aspects which you kind of thought were fun in the beginning, playing video games. And then what were the hardest times? Like, what did you miss most about your mom?
I miss like waking up and saying good morning to my parents. She used to like cook us breakfast, like on the weekends and stuff. It just it wasn't usual for me for her to be gone. Like I couldn't like wake up in the morning and go hug my mom like I do every day. It just was bad.
Apart from the teacher, did you have friends? Were you going to a public school or a school on base?
I was going to a public school, but my best friend, his dad was also in the military, so he was deployed too, so we got through it together.
What did you talk about?
We were talking about like how we felt about our parents being gone. Like after school, I go to his house and we do our homework together and hang out and stuff like that.
Did you tell other kids, like kids who were civilian kids, that you were a military child?
Yes, ma'am.
You used to?
I still do. I'm very proud of being a military child.
Tell me why.
I mean, because people are all like, yeah, my dad does this, my mom does that. I'm like, well, my parents helped defend our country. That's really something to be proud of.
What are their reactions?
Well, they're shocked at first, and they ask, like, how is it being a military child? Like, how is it when you move? Do you move all the time? How many schools have you been to? And then they're, like, really interested, and then that's how you, like, get friends.
So everyone thinks of it as a good thing, or are there some people who think it's, like, kind of not cool?
Well, all the kids are like, well, that's really cool. What your parents do is really amazing. Everyone likes it.
What is your you said your mom was a recruiter for the Navy. Where was she deployed to?
Afghanistan.
Tell me a little bit about when she came back.
When she came back, we like surprised her. My whole family like came down to Norfolk like a weekend. There's like a big party and everything, and it was amazing.
What was that moment like? Tell me about the moment when you saw her and you realized, oh my God, she's back.
The first thing I did was run and jump into her arms.
Did you cry?
Yes, ma'am. I cried a lot that day.
Tell me what emotions you were feeling.
I was just so overjoyed that she made it back safely, because some people don't always come back, and I feel really bad for those people.
Did you talk about things like that with your friend whose parent was deployed as well? Like, did you all talk about the possibility that maybe your parents wouldn't come back?
Well, we talked about it a little, but for the most part, we try to not think about that.
Did you talk about it with your dad or your teacher, or did you just not want to deal with that?
Well, yeah, my family, we like every once in a while, like every week, we like pray and make sure that she'd get back safely, and we'd all like talk about how we feel about her being gone and everything. Our dad would try his best, to keep things as normal as possible.
What were some of the things you most missed about your mom that, I mean, even though you love your dad and he does a lot for you, like, moms are different?
Yeah, it's funny because when she was here, I was all like, wow, she's always telling me to go clean my room, get off the video games. But when she's gone, I'm like, you know what? I miss her being here, telling me to clean my room, do all this stuff. It was just like, I'd do anything to make sure she was here.
Do you think that now that she's back, you take her less for granted? Or do you think you're back to kind of where you were before she deployed?
I am not back to where I was. Like, on weekends, we make her breakfast and stuff, breakfast in bed. And on Mother's Day, we like buy her a lot of presents and stuff. We really value her.
Every weekend you make her breakfast in bed?
Not every weekend, but like every other weekend, basically.
That's very cool. I bet she loves that.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I have two brothers. My oldest one is 17, and my younger brother is 8.
And did they react differently when your mom was deployed from how you reacted?
Well, yeah, not really. They were all sad, and we like hung out a lot more while she was gone than how we used to be before she left.
What were you like before?
Well, before she left, I mean, we like hung out and like talked, but he was more about, my older brother was more about hanging out with his friends and stuff. And my younger brother is more about like playing like with his toys. We didn't spend as much time together as we did when she was gone.
And so her deployment really brought you together in a sense.
Yeah, while she was gone, our whole family became closer.
What about with your dad? Did you become closer to him? Was there something that you noticed about him that you hadn't before?
Well, I did get a lot closer because, I mean, the stuff I used to go to my mom for help with, I went to him, and he was
Give an
a lot.
example.
Well, like, for school, I'd usually go to my mom because she's the one that was always worried about my grades and stuff. But I started going to my dad for school, and he tried his best and was a real help.
If you had to explain to someone who's like a civilian, who's never, like no connection with the military, right? And you had to explain who a military child is, how would you do that?
I explain it somewhat like this. A military child is like a normal child, but has more experiences, usually like friendlier, and they know how to get along with people. They're usually nicer because they know how everybody else like goes through what they're going through. They're always there for each other.
And would you ever consider joining the military?
No, I'm 99% sure I won't join the military. My mom does not want me to join the military. She wants me to do whatever I want to do. She wants me to become a lawyer.
Would you be a lawyer in the military or not?
not. She doesn't want me to be in the military. I mean, she
Why?
would, but she just doesn't want. She doesn't want me to like go through what she goes through, like all the moving and stuff like that. She wants like stuff to stay constant for us.
How did you keep in touch with your mom when she was deployed?
Well, when she was deployed, we would have used video chat, but none of us knew how to set it up. She didn't. Our dad did it, so I like emailed her. She wrote us as much as possible.
Can you think of one email that she sent you which you kept rereading and it really touched you and made you feel closer to her even though she wasn't there?
Yeah, it was like I was taking like the state tests in like 3rd grade, and I like aced them. I got 100 on. It was actually a 600 in Virginia, a 600 on all 3 of my tests. She sent me an email. She's like, "Way to go, baby! Great job!" And it really made my day.
And so you used to keep reading that?
Yeah, I read it like almost every day in class. It motivated me to get really good grades.
That's great. Andrew, anything else?
What did she do?
Recruiter for the Navy. Are you getting ready to move somewhere now?
Yeah, after this school year, we're moving to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Tell me a little bit about how you feel about that move.
Well, it's probably a better move than all the other ones because we're going back to family and stuff like that. But I really do miss the people here in Texas. They're really nice. There's a lot of good people here.
What are you going to miss most about them?
Well, I mean, 'cause Texas is like different. It's like the one state that has its own power grid and everything. Everyone here is like friendly, like acts different, and says y'all all the time. It's funny.
When you find out that you're going to move, because you've moved to a lot of places, how do you react?
Well, this time, it wasn't as much as a surprise. She was all like, "We're probably going to end up moving after this year." It's like, "Oh, where?" She's like, "Well, it's between like Charlotte, Norfolk." If she went back to Norfolk, she'd have to like be deployed again, so that was automatically out, and we weren't choosing that one. So we chose Charlotte, and we were like really happy because that's where our family is. It's where, you know, my childhood is. All my summers.
Do you think about other military kids whose parents have deployed like multiple times, like 3, 4 times?
Yeah, I like really feel bad for them. When I like do come across them, I try to like give them encouragement, especially if their parents are deployed at that time. I try to help out as much as possible.
What would you say to them?
I feel like keep on, like stay strong. They'll come back, and stay upbeat. Because if you're not upbeat, then it'll like mess them up, and they'll be like sad, and they'll miss you. Try to stay as strong as possible for them.
Well, is that what you said? Would you say is a military child's kind of biggest fear, that their parent won't come back?
Yes, that was my biggest fear, and I'm pretty sure I speak for every military child when I say yes.
Last case, want to join military. Do you tell children you're a military child? Oh, sorry, yes, you did. You said you were very proud of that. That is, yeah. How do you keep in touch with friends? Like, how will you keep in touch with kids in Texas?
Well, this year, my mom has like a rule where when you turn 13, you can finally get a phone. So now, like, I can like always like call my friends or text them. And then like over like Xbox, we like play Xbox together and stuff like that.
What about academics? Is it hard for you going from one state to the other, or is it easy because each state has different curriculums, right?
Well, it's pretty much the same. They're teaching almost the same things, just at like different times. It's like history is like the most different thing. Like math, science, and English is always the same, but history, sometimes they teach state history, like country history, world history. That's like the biggest difference in schools.
So tell me if there's anything else that I haven't asked you about that you think, oh my gosh, you know, if you're a civilian, you need to know this about military children, and I just haven't asked you.
Well, most civilians are like, oh, military jobs. They're so lucky. They get to travel around, go to see new places and stuff. Well, that's true, but it also comes with a lot of like cons. You rarely see your parents if they're deployed. You like never see them. They're always busy, and then like you always lose friends, and it's not always that easy to make friends when you're like as you get older.
What do you think makes it more difficult?
Because people, they get meaner when they get older. Like it's not intentionally that they're being mean. It's just that how they are. It's just when you get older, people have like certain like things they do and stuff. But when you're younger, it's like you walk up to somebody, you start playing tag, and hey, you're my new best friend.
Thank you so much. Andrew, do you have anything?
No.
You were just so great, Cameron.
Thank you.
Really, really think I just had got such a good sense of like what your life is like. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So,
Hey, Camilla,
Yes.
do you have like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to just do a quick another last chat with us?
Sure. Sure, I can. Do y'all need to turn it off and turn it back on, or?
Yeah, we're gonna do one more. So it'll take us a couple minutes, but yeah, we're gonna stop this one and then we'll start a new one.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Cameron.
Bye.